All right, because I'm having some fun here, I'm going to go ahead and record another quick tutorial for you. This is a way to create those tracks really easily, and so yeah, I mean, as I showed you, you probably saw that, but you can kind of actually look here, and you can tell the width here is a little different than the width down here. And then if I shift duplicate those tracks, and then the pivot point's down there, but I'm going to come around here and line them up. Sure enough, a little more narrow, which, like you said, you probably noticed that. So what we can do is let's take the geometry of this object, and I'm actually going to take this point right here because that seems to be the point where it is accurate in terms of size. And so I'm going to highlight those vertices, went to wire mode so I could select all the way through, highlight those vertices, and we're going to go P to separate the selection. And so we're going to go ahead and hit H to hide this object. And now, unfortunately, it's buried within this object. I didn't think about that, but there are these two pieces of the track. Now, I don't think they're supposed to be filled in like that. I don't know why it did that when we converted the object. I'm looking here. So, oh, it's one big face. I'm going to delete that face. Nope. Only faces. So that didn't exactly work like I thought it was going to. Alright, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit the / key. It's going to isolate just this one object. And I'm going to delete this edge, and I'm going to come over here and do the same thing. We're going to delete those edges, which deletes that. I'm going to select all those and hit F, and it creates a face out of each of those. Which is actually kind of important, because now what we're going to do, I'm going to hit the F3 key, and that is the way that you search for all kinds of commands. If you don't know what a command is, you hit F3 and you can type it in. And as you can see, I already tested this, so I already typed it in, but we're going to type convert, and there's a few things here, but convert selected faces to Bezier. So I'm going to click that, and now what we have is two different objects, and it's hard to tell which one you've selected except for, yeah, you can't even see that one, but it is there. Oh, there it is. It's hiding behind the other one. So I'm going to, when I select this, you can see this little mesh icon. I'm going to delete it. And then here we have our curve. So I've created, you can see here, these curves, but you can tell by the little spiky weirdness going on that these are 3D curves. So if I go here, 3D, 2D, and this gets a little complicated, but if I hit 2D, all the vertices disappear. I'm going to hit the period key on the numpad, which is the delete key, and what that does is it centers it back on the geometry, and as you can see, it's condensed all those points down to the wrong plane. Basically, the axis of the object was incorrect. When you make a 2D you make a 3D curve into 2D, it doesn't really know which axis, so it just defaults to smashing them down onto, I believe, the Y axis or the X axis. Anyway, they smash them down flat, so what it is, it converted all those points down to a flat object, but they're all smashed down into one place, and basically they smashed vertically instead of smashing the depth down to a plane, which hopefully that makes sense. So I'm going to Control Z to undo that, period key to go find them again, and what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to orbit around them, and I hit the 5 key to go back out of perspective mode, and I'm going to rotate them 90 degrees to right here. Alright, so now we've got them laying down, and now if I hit 2D, they still disappear, but they have kept their shape because they have, instead of merging on the y-axis, well, they still merged on the same axis, but by rotating the vertices, we've changed the axis, and so hopefully that all makes sense, but it's flattened them down to this 2D object, this 2D curve, and then I'm going to hit the / key again, so we're going to unisolate them, and what it's done is it's actually just, you can see here, it's brought them down from where they were here all the way down and put them flat on the ground, basically. So I'm going to do Alt-G to clear the location, or, yeah, where is the location? Oh, it's over there. So Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click and I'm going to go set origin to geometry. Okay, so now we've got our origin right here. Sorry, I'm kind of not learning this as I go, but remembering some of this as I go. So, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to move it down here, which this isn't really actually that important, but it just helps you visualize. We're going to move it to the end of the path here. I'm going to rotate it and bring it right down here. And there it is. We're going to move it over. So here's where the magic happens. We can select this curve, which is your path. And even though it's a path, it can also just be it has all the properties of a normal curve. And so what we're going to do is going to go to geometry and bevel, and we're going to take the little picker tool, or you can type it in, but we're going to select the curve rail object. And well, that's kind of cool. It's kind of created a vertical rail system. So again, I probably just don't have the axis right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to tab back into edit mode and we're going to rotate these around. We want the, I think you had the rail part up. So we're going to rotate it like that. And just for continuity's sake, so I rotated those vertices in edit mode, and I'm going to go back into object mode and I'm going to rotate them back just for, again, for consistency's sake. Now they should, if we go up here, look at that, it's hugging the rails just like it should, more or less. Here I've got two different views, so what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to go over here, look at the rails so I can actually edit the rails directly, but I'm going to watch how it affects over here. And so I'm going to do that, I'm going to hit the middle mouse button, and I'm going to move these up, the rails, until I just see them clipping in the wheels up there on the right screen. And there we go. Just a tiny bit of space. I'm going to grab these again over here and watch over there, bring them down till they just touch, and there we go. Now, I mean, you can do anything with these rails. You can grab these little handles here and do that. And now you can see that this rail over here, with this shading, it's a little bit hard, but we can, let's do where is it? They changed it. It used to be in that menu, but now shade flat. Is that what it is? Oh, there we go. Shade flat. So you can kind of see that's this one over here actually, but it has a curved top to it. So anything that you change in the profile of these, I'm gonna go ahead and put these back to normal. Anyway, anything you change in the profile of these curves happens to the curves all the way along, and it bevels that curve and creates, this is going to create a absolutely perfect alignment with your path. And as you can see, as the, I haven't made all the other changes that we made the first time to this file, but we can do those real quickly. Go back over here, constraints, fixed path, influence up to 1, Alt G to clear the location, and then let's see, let's apply the scale, rotate, and there we go. Let's apply rotation, and there we go. And there you can see, this is now going to follow that path around, and 100% all the way. Everything is perfectly lined up because these rails are actually being formed by this curve. So hopefully that little thing helps you out. And yeah, it's been fun again, helping you out. If you have any other questions, feel free to let me know.